League One only saw 2 games of action this weekend as internationals wiped out the fixtures for the weekend. It's absolutely massive weekend of action though, with Peterborough facing up against Rotherham and Crawley Town facing up against Shrewsbury. In this video, we're going to take a look into both fixtures, a deep dive into the statistics, the lineups and all things that you could want. And we're also going to take a look into the league table. Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, turn on that notification bell and hit the like button to help push this video to brand new audiences. I'm really enjoying making this sort of content at the moment, and I'm really enjoying pushing this channel to new heights. So shall we get into talking all about the League One table? So here we have it then. After 10 games for some, 9 for others and 11 for certain teams as well, we can see how the League One table is shaping up. You've obviously got Birmingham City leading the way on 22 points. Obviously they have a game in hand on Wrexham, who sit just behind them on 20. Mansfield Town on 20 as well. They are on the same games as Birmingham. They sit on 20. Lincoln City, Wickham and Stockport round out the playoffs. Then to finish off the top half, you've got Exeter and Charlton on 16. You've then got Huddersfield, Blackpool, Barnsley and Peterborough United all finding themselves on 15 points. Then in the bottom half, you've got Stevenage, Bolton and Rotherham hitting up that 14-point mark. Then you've got Wigan, Reading and Bristol Rovers, who are the edge of that leading pack on 13 points. Then you've got Leyton Orient and Northampton and Shrewsbury all level on 8 points. Whereas Crawley sit on 7, Burton on 4 and Cambridge on 1. Now, we are going to take a look into the fixtures, but if we look at the home form for all these sides as well, you can see how this is shaping up for the division. And if we look at the away form as well, you can see where the teams are excelling, whether it be at home, away from home, or what not. And we get into the last 5 matches, and Mansfield Town and Wycombe Wanderers lead the way. Birmingham just behind Blackpool, Bolton and Exeter sitting in those playoff positions. Now, shall we get in to Crawley Town versus Shrewsbury? So here we have it then, an absolute thriller of a second half for Crawley Town and Shrewsbury Town as they faced off at the Broadfield Stadium. Swan initially equalised after 33 minutes after a Marquez goal after 26. It was 1-1 at half time, and going into the second half you probably didn't anticipate a great deal of goals coming from this one, but Quintana made it 2-1 to Crawley before a quick-fire double from Shrewsbury made it 3-2. Then Lloyd scored a double in the 86th and 92nd minute to make it 5-2. And Kelly scored in the 95th minute. Let's not ignore the red card for Flynn after 56, as that will have had a big impact on this one. Now, let's look at the initial basic data behind the game. 56% possession to 44%. 1.04 XG to 3.25. 15 shots to 18. 2 big chances to 5. And I think it's a deserved winner for Shrewsbury Town. I think you can see that up until arguably the red card and just after the goal, realistically it was all Shrewsbury, as you would expect. And if we do look at the 2 lineups, there's some really good players in these lineups in my opinion. I really like Rossiter and Ojo in the middle. Marquez putting in a really good performance today. Now, I don't think either of these 2 sides are going to be world beaten in League One, no doubt in my mind. But I think both have the possibility of staying in the division. Now, you look at this side for Crawley, and it's not quite to the standard that you'd probably expect of a League One side. They do have some good players in there, like Quintana and players like that, who I think can have a big impact. Now, let's look at the players that came off the bench. Taylor Perry, Charles Jr., Tom Bloxham. There's some really good players coming off the bench for both sides here. Now, if we look at the league table, the win put Shrewsbury Town into 21st position on 8 points, and it gets them 2 games unbeaten. Crawley Town take another defeat, and I don't think they've not won a game since the second game of the season, I believe, after they put in a really good performance. And it's really difficult for Crawley Town at this point. Now, if we do take a look a little bit deeper into the stats, look at the areas where the shots are coming from. It's really good areas, these here, but then you look at these ones on the edge of the box, and yes, they score from a really nice one outside the edge of the box, but realistically you don't want to be taking those sorts of opportunities. Shrewsbury Town got it down to a T. Most of their shots in the box, just 4 on the edge. And if we go down here, you can see 14 shots in the box for Shrewsbury compared to 8 for Crawley. Really, really good performance for these two sides. Shrewsbury will be taking lots of confidence from this one into their next game. Shall we see who the next games are against? The next games for Shrewsbury is up against Exeter, who currently sit in 7th position. We will have a preview video out for that. And Crawley Town, they face up against Reading in 17th position. That's going to be a really, really interesting one. Shall we get into talking all about Peterborough versus Rotherham? If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest EFL and Derby County content, which is going to be coming to the channel. Obviously, if you like Formula 1 and things like that, make sure you go and check out my racing channel and all my racing social medias that come with it. And I'll catch you in the next part of this video. So, a very interesting one at the Westham home stadium as Peterborough United come back from behind to take a point versus Rotherham United. Now, initially Peterborough went 1-0 up after 17 minutes, but a quick equaliser from Nombe put Rotherham back on level terms before a second goal in 5 minutes saw Wilkes make it 2-1. Going into half-time, Clark Harris scored to make it 3-1, and you would have thought Rotherham could have probably saw this game out and ran away with it, but as we've seen so far this season, they've not been able to pick up many victories. And as you can see by the numbers behind this game, don't get me wrong, created some really good chances, Rotherham, but it was all Peterborough. An own goal from Rafferty and a Fernandez finish after 53 minutes equalised the game, and there wasn't much to talk about really after that, with Peterborough not being able to seal the deal and pick up all 3 points, Rotherham not being able to hold out. Now, if we look at the basic numbers here, 76% possession to 24%. 2.39 XG to 2.21, 13 shots to 11, 4 big chances to 5. Now, I think it's valid to say that both teams had an abundance of opportunities in this game, and with the quality of player on the pitch, it does not surprise me at all. I think both of these sides have some really, really good players. I really like Ricky J. Jones, Kwame Poku, Mothersill. I think he's just going to get better and better as he grows into men's football. I really like Joel Randall in the middle and Sparks as well at left back, but there's some big names that have had to be replaced for that Peterborough side. I'm really liking the look of Clark Harris. Now, did come off at half time, but one of those players who I think has always got the opportunity to come up with a goal. I think some really good players in here. Humphreys, I think, was of interest of many championship clubs this summer and last. If you look on the bench as well at some of the players coming on, you've got Osong, one of the young players coming in. Obviously, Jordan Hugel as well, a player who you cannot ignore. Now, obviously, less of the bench used for Darren Ferguson's men as a result of some big injuries for them. Now, if we do look at the league table, the point for Peterborough puts them into 12th position on 15 points. Level with all the way up to Huddersfield, so they're joint 9th essentially. Rotherham United, the point puts them level with Stevenage and Bolton, joint 13th in retrospect. Now, if we do look a little bit deeper, look at the opportunities for Rotherham United, some really good opportunities in the box, just one shot outside of the box, and then Peterborough, all their opportunities coming in the box besides 4. If we look over here, it's 10 shots to 9 in the box in Rotherham's favour. XG, non-penalty wise, 2.39 to 2.21. Really good set play game from both sides, 1.2 XG to 1.79. I think both managers will come away I'm not going to necessarily say happy with the point, but I think they'll both be happy to come away with something. Peterborough after taking the lead so early on and then going down 3-1 before half-time, and Rotherham going down early on and actually taking something from the game. I do think that Rotherham United, despite the fact that they've been on a much better run if you look at their recent fixtures, but for me, they've still not been great, and I do think they'll get better. Obviously, they face up against Wrexham next, which is going to be a really, really interesting game to keep an eye on. You obviously look at Peterborough. They've not been on the bestish run, but obviously those back-to-back wins in League One and the EFL Trophy. A draw here, that's 3 unbeaten. They head in versus Wickham, and Wickham are second in the form table of the division. If we just look here, Wickham Wanderers sitting second above Birmingham City. So, and you look at where Peterborough are sitting and where Rotherham is sitting, not in similar positions. So it is going to be interesting. We will take a look into all of those games heading into this upcoming weekend. Obviously, you do have that early fixture, which I believe it's on Thursday night, Shrewsbury versus Exeter. Not entirely sure why that is being played on Thursday, but we'll keep across all of that. The preview video will be out Tuesday evening, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for that. and let's close out. Now, they have all the action from this League One weekend. It's not necessarily a weekend of thrills and spills when it comes to the entire division, with obviously, I think it was 10 postponements in all. And I did post a video earlier this weekend about League One taking international breaks. I certainly think it's something which should be discussed by the EFL. I think there's a massive opportunity now with the quality of player that you can give everyone these breaks, and I don't think it'll have a major impact. Now, there is some big fixtures coming up next week. You've got Wickham versus Peterborough, which we've just mentioned. Bolton and Burton, I think that's going to be a big game. You've got Mansfield facing up against Stevenage, Rotherham against Wrexham, Lincoln versus Birmingham. Some really, really big games coming up, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay across it with me on this channel. Turn on the notification bell as well, hit that like button, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll catch you in my next video.